What up, Atlanta? Hey, guess what? We are those motherfuckers!
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Frolfcenter, presented by Frolfer Magazine. As usual, I'm Austin, joined with my co-host Adam.
Hi, everybody.
We're into May already. What's up, brother?
I know, we're already into May. Are you? You got a beer tonight? I got a beer tonight.
Of course, I've got a beer.
What are you gonna Tropicali? Nice. I went to Goodword with the dudes after a little ADGO stuff this weekend. I got this Analog Life. It's like a 3.5% English mild, and it's really delicious. The problem is it's like 3.5%, but it's really good. It's really good.
Oh, so you're doing no beer November?
Yeah, no beer November. I'm doing water adjacent. I've got a tournament this weekend, so I'm just trying to stay hydrated. That's all.
Yeah, exactly. Stay hydrated.
Yeah.
Social media stuff. Follow us on Frolfer, Frolfer.com, YouTube channel, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, all that good stuff. We're on all of it.
No TikTok, no OnlyFans yet. So
yeah. You convince us to do it, and we might do it.
Maybe.
I'm about to go get a pedicure. It's so much beach season, so
it's almost beaches, and he's getting a pedicure. Pedicure probably
I need to, dude. I need to.
Yeah, for sure.
Disc golf does a tear on the feet, bro.
It really does. But the outsides of my feet could cut things. Like they're just.
That's what I'm saying. You need a pedicure before you're going to be wearing sandals.
My fiance's trying to get me to do it. I did a peel one time. I tried a foot peel.
It's so good. It's so like the most.
I know what you mean. The most like masculine, manly way.
Yes,
right?
yeah. A pedicure is the best thing for your feet. It really is.
If a
It'll
guy
help
with
your
a
disc golf
mustache,
game.
Yeah, if a guy with a mustache like that's getting a pedicure, then it's got to be okay, right?
Yeah, you just sit there and smile at them while they tickle your feet.
Yeah, dude. I'm also
it's totally normal.
It would not be easy for me. Anyway.
Anyways, into the national news.
Yeah.
My boy Aladdin. Aladdin winning the goat. The goat at Goat Hill is what we're calling this.
Yeah.
That's sick, dude.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've watched the rounds yet on Central Coast Disc Golf, but absolutely phenomenal disc golf by the one and only Atlanta product. Cherokee County product, should I say?
Cherokee County, not even Atlanta, but Cherokee. He's the local dude.
He's my boy, dude. I remember teaching this kid things back in the day, and it really makes the heart warm to see him out there rocking the Vans Ultra Range.
Yeah,
and,
dude,
just crushing it.
Yeah, dude, he wore those at the ADGO.
He's been crushing it. He's been wearing the Ultra Range since USDGC about last year.
Yeah, I was gonna say because he had him at Redan in November, and I asked him because I just done the review on him on Frolfer.com, and I was like, "Why do you like those things so much?" Like, I don't know, man. They're just really comfortable. Like that's Alden Harris. Like, I don't know, man. It's comfortable.
Yeah, it's super nonchalant, and I did have a good text conversation with him earlier this week or today, and but no, the Ultra Ranges are nice. I mean, I'm not gonna go off a spiel on that, but if you got a wide foot, I recommend the Ultra Range.
Yeah, we could definitely talk about shoes for 2 hours. I could do that.
Right, absolutely. But go to frolfer.com and follow the shoe debate if you haven't already.
Also, if you don't know about the Goat Hill merch, it's really good. Alan Risley's the tournament director. That's AJ's dad, and they've got all sorts of merch. So if you're looking for like an Invader, if you're looking for a good Firebird, if you're looking for a flat top KC Pro Rock, you can go to the Goat Hill website, and they've got all that stuff stamped Goat Hill. And they've got stuff you can't find at Infinite right now, but they've got it in Goat Hill stamps. So
yeah, it's pretty crazy. I'm sure it's a good stamp too, right?
Yeah, it's a good stamp. All the art's always been good for that. So there's no big disc. I mean, that was big, but it's big. It's big for all, but it was definitely not an Elite Series. But next weekend we still have another Silver Series. It's the Santa Cruz Masters Cup de la Viega. We're going out to where they play the 2-meter rule, which is not fun. Nobody likes
and where
that.
they throw at open parking lots and roads crossing over.
Yeah, all that fun stuff. No woods over there.
Good stuff. But Alden's had success out there as well, dude. Honestly,
yeah, Alden has had success out there, so I'm hoping he does well. It's a stacked.
I'd love to
field.
see the kid go back to back. That'd be insane.
That'd be big. That'd be big. And he can do it.
Him.
Yeah.
Let's give him a Frolfer bump.
Let's give all of them the Frolfer bump. See what happens. That'll be good. But this is a pretty stacked one. No Paige Pierce, no Chris Dickerson, but you got Paul Macbeth, Ricky Roysaki, Matt Orm, James Conrad, Kevin Jones, Gannon Burr, Anthony Barella, Adam Hameth. Barella might be good out there too. Ezra, Thomas Gilbert, everybody's out there. It's going to be pretty good.
Brody Smith.
Oh yeah, he's there. Corver's playing. Katrina on Sarah.
Oh, Corver is playing Masters Cup, huh?
Yep, Corver's playing. Madison Walker's playing.
First event.
Yeah,
I think that's her first event since God, what's his name? Went down.
Oh, I can't remember. But yeah. Also, Carolina Reaper Halstead's going to be out there, which is fun. Madison Walker playing again. Hannah Wynn, who was on the show, is playing. And who else is out there that's real fun? There's somebody I was like, Christine King. Because Christine King doesn't play very much, but she plays that West Coast swing.
Jim Oates is Juliana's other half.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyways, Franklin approved baskets. Franklin approved baskets? What?
Yeah, dude. Hold on a second. Let me just here we go.
There's no pictures of these baskets that they've made?
Well, do you want to see the base level basket first?
Yeah, and let's do that. Okay. And Deluxe and Elite?
Deluxe is right here.
Okay.
It looks like the difference between the base and the Deluxe is plastic chains. Am I seeing that right? But anyway, here's the Elite. This is their number one.
I can't wait to play a tournament on those.
Oh my god, I can't wait to they're gonna throw a Hunter Memorial and it's gonna be absolutely fantastic. I'm gonna love it. It's gonna be real good.
It's gonna be great.
Yeah, I just don't want it to happen. I just don't want Franklin to be it. It's like going. I don't trust Franklin to make targets the way I don't trust McDonald's to make like beef tartare. You know what I mean? I just don't trust it. Yeah, I don't know. Glomming on. Anyway, that's all.
Local news.
Yeah.
We've got the Georgia State Championships that will be held at Boundary Waters. It was originally supposed to be at Hobbs Farm, but the church rented the parking lot first.
Yeah, so they couldn't play that one.
The Lord comes first, so no Hobbs, but it will be at Boundary Waters, are they going to be playing the BW3?
Only in the unofficial dubs. So it's one round a day, Saturday and Sunday. For me, in Pool B or whatever, it's Boundary Waters 1, then Boundary Waters 2. But Boundary Waters 3 is going to be used for a doubles thing that's because they switched to Hobbs, the West Side crew has put in some of their own money to put into the pot for this doubles thing. And they're going to use Boundary Waters 3, which I believe is the Falcon course. I don't know. They have new names, and I don't use the new names. And everyone on the internet is getting yelled at about not using the new names. So,
sounds like a Prodigy disc, naming system.
They are
going from numbers to names.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, so that's on sale now. Yeah, it's going to be good. Oh, yeah, Matt Dollar and K-Mac are the big names in MPO. Who are you taking?
Is it sold out?
There's 2 spots open.
Okay, I'll take Austin Lytle.
You can get in. There's 1 spot in Pro available. And that's it.
I'll take Austin Lytle with that one.
You going to go in there?
I'm going to take the 80-1 odds because
Rich strike. And then you're going to bite
K-Mac's there. Because K-Mac's there.
And he's going to bite Matt Dollar the whole time after the race, too. Do you see that thing? That horse bit.
The horse was biting?
Yeah. He really raged out, dude. Yeah. As soon as the race was over, that horse, like they were trying to corral him for the interview. That horse was like, no. He was like biting the hands of the guy on the other horse. It was a mess, man. It was ugly. It did not look good. That horse got punched in the face like 30 seconds after winning because it was trying to eat the other horse.
Huh.
You should look it up on Twitter. It's a lot of fun. I don't have a video. I should have got a video for that. That was
Yeah, I didn't expect the K-Mac horse talk, but
no, here we are. Yeah, I wasn't expecting it either. Okay, on to Frol for Fridays, which I don't know if I got the thing in here for. Here we go. Sorry, guys. It was a little tight getting the Chirons together today. Frol for Fridays is over. I'm waiting for this Chiron to load. Adam Nelson, who showed up only for the final week of Frol for Friday, he went out with a bang. He took first place. He went bogey-free on the long, so he got free beer from me. Andy won $138 ace pot throw off. And if you guys know Ferguson Park, hole 4, we use that. It's down in the bottom, very easy. Just a lot of people throw a flex forehand. A lot of people go straight at it. The closest, Adam Nelson went last, and he won it, and he was 25 feet away from the pin.
There's no way that won that.
It was the windiest day I've ever been at Ferguson Park. We had limbs falling. We had stuff flying through the course. It was like gusts of 45 and stuff.
It was pretty nasty on Friday, but
it was
wow.
Yeah. But yeah, so anyway, that's the end of it. I want to give a thanks to our champions real quick. Grayson Ross ran away with it, although we had a little drama going to the end there. Chris Kelly was in second place at the time. We had enough people for Chris Kelly to win and beat Grayson Ross because Grayson Ross was out of town. Chris Kelly was out of town. So Grayson Ross cruised in. Patrick Daugherty snuck into second. Christopher Kelly in third. I took fifth in my own league just because I played all 6 weeks. But on the ladies' side, Mercer Waterbury ran away with it, and she got to take her trophy home on Friday. So congratulations to Grayson and to Mercer. So, yeah, cool. And then, this one. Hotlana's on.
Hotlanta. Yeah, Hotlana's on sale now. I think Boomtown is on sale as well right now at the moment. But
yes, forget about that.
The Hotlanta is a Skeet Zielinski dyed, or not dyed. It's a stamped disc.
Stamped, yeah. Skeet Zielinski. He did the design, but his discs always go for a pretty good amount of money. So
yeah, I would definitely invest in it.
I take that. In Boomtown, it's only the sponsorship only registration right now.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I think it either opens up this week or next week, Wednesday.
I know it's coming soon. I'd seen something from Brandon. You're going to hear about it. It's Boomtown. You can't. Right.
Not. Get in where you fit in. And a chance to play a tournament at the compound.
Oh yeah. That's right. Because that's that private course that Hayden's got, right?
Yeah, it's on his parents' property. From what I've heard, it's a pretty nice course. But
I haven't played it yet, so
that's coming.
It's coming. But anywho, I guess on to the man of the hour, huh?
On to the man of the hour. Yeah, I guess an introduction for a man who doesn't need an introduction. Right. He's genuinely the hardest working man in disc golf I've ever seen, and had a privilege of playing his tournaments. I've never gone to a tournament where I've seen the tournament director out there the week before the event mowing the grass
with his own
push mower, and just lets you play through, and then we'll continue back to push mowing. And he's genuinely the hardest working man in disc golf, and he's a dear friend of ours. It's Mr. Keith Johnson.
Hey, how you doing?
There he is.
There it is.
He told me he was coming in hot with the glasses tonight.
Yeah, an homage to being one of the original watchers there of Frolfcenter.
Thank you.
He knows the sunglass debut.
Yeah.
So, but we're going new school now, so we'll be removing them.
I had to join you there for a minute. It felt funny. Yeah.
There you go. And
dude, first things first, Keith. I need to know, what was your first disc, your first round? Who took you out? How did you get started in disc golf?
Well, actually, starting in disc golf with lids. I was playing at the course in Miami back in the early 90s without knowing what disc golf actually was. There was the 9-hole course at David Kennedy Park in Coconut Grove, a suburb of Miami, Florida. And used to play there with my buddy on the way biking to the beach, and on the way back, we'd always play there and never saw anybody else on the course. We just played with the lids. And then one time it was storming. We came back early, ran into their doubles league, and these people were throwing disc golf discs. And they're like, yeah, you should try this. And so they had a world's biggest disc golf weekend, which used to exist back then every year. Run by John Houck and Millennium. He started that. And so basically my first golf disc was an AVR and a Gazelle, which came in the package for $6 when you signed up for World's Biggest Disc Golf Weekend.
$6.
$6. You got the 2 discs, and you got to play a round of disc golf also. And that was it. So that my first golf disc was a Gazelle and an AVR DX, of course.
Yeah.
And what course was that again?
David
down
T.
in Miami?
Yeah, it doesn't exist any longer. The last baskets came out probably 4 or 5 years ago. They've converted the park, done a lot of things. They put dog parks in. They put other things in the park. So there's no disc golf there anymore. They used to have one basket up by the front where AC's Icy is, but that's gone away.
Yeah, we're kind of seeing the remnants of that. As population grows, disc golf kind of gets pushed out of the popular parks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think horses are a problem here in Atlanta about that. We'll get into that later on. There's a whole question. I don't want that waspy neighborhood on me watching the show or anything. But what was your most recent round like?
My most recent round was actually my best round ever at Lula. I shot 62 on the 20-hole layout this past weekend or Saturday, and I shot 62. Had 2 bogeys. Hole 1 took a 4, and hole 17 I took a 5, and everything else was birdie or par.
Wow.
Shot my best round ever there. So I was
much different than the 61s I put up last week. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. So during the tournament that I ran the week before, I shot 77, 72, and 86. So it was a big difference. 24-stroke difference in 6 days. A little bit. I mean,
different. It's a lot different when you're running an event and playing an event than just playing an event.
Yeah.
No doubt. Yeah, that's what I told Dollar. I said I love when you run tournaments here because I get to be a player and not have to be a player and a TD at the same time, because pretty much that's the only times I play tournaments at Lula is when somebody else runs them or I run them. So
yeah,
right.
Yeah, I was shooting 60 points below my rating for half of the league I was running, just because I was thinking about how much time we had left before daylight. I'm like, this is stupid. I got to quit doing this.
Exactly.
What kind of golfer would you call yourself? If you had to describe your game to like an ESPN crowd, how would you describe your disc golf game?
My disc golf game sucks.
Okay.
Because I use my head. If I could disconnect my head from my body, I'd be a great disc golfer, because I have skills. I just don't have the head to go with the skills. And so I'll have 1,000 rated rounds followed by 800 rated rounds, or like a 72 followed by an 86 and then followed by a 62. So that's kind of how my disc golf game has gone the past probably 12 years, 15 years. Before that, it was pretty consistent. I was in 950s, 960 rated range, pretty solid. And, I'd have good rounds, bad rounds, but nothing like the wild swings that I have nowadays.
Yep. Would you say you're a conservative player? Do you go for it? Are you a birdie or die guy? Like, what's your outlook?
Yeah.
Okay. No, it's not. I'm never the birdie or die guy, but I'm always the guy that if I don't birdie, I'm angry that I didn't birdie it.
Okay.
But most of the times I have good lines that I'm either a foot low or a foot high, or I'm a foot left or a foot right, or when I do have the right height, then the line's off. So it's like, the crapshoot of when I throw good, like I did Saturday, and when I shot the 62, everything was working. I had 2 bad drives, and they resulted in the 2 bogeys I had, and that was it. I was pretty consistent and pretty dead on with most everything else. Made some good putts and things like that.
Gotcha. I want to know because I know you do have a national tour win at the Carolina Clash. You've got 20 wins on your career. Is there a specific win that is your most cherished?
Well, it's kind of a tie, and you're going to like this because Vegas is one of them.
Yeah.
The national tour, definitely, because that was my first big win in my first year as a grandmaster. So I was proud of that. And then also my first year as a grandmaster in Vegas at the Halloween tournament. There, I beat all the local guys, Mike Cloyes and some of the other big local Vegas golfers. It was super windy like it was this past weekend, and I played for the lock. I just played for par. I got within 40 feet, 50 feet, didn't try to make any putts. I just jump putted to the lock and had drop-in pars or drop-in bogeys, whatever it was. And the other guys were going for the 2s and turning them into 4s and 6s. And so I just played smart, which is one of the few times I've done it, and I came away with a big win. So those 2 are my happiest and best wins. I did the same thing at Carolina, got a lead, and then just started playing for the lock at the end of the round.
Let people make more mistakes than you.
Well, either that and also by knowing if I don't make a mistake and I just get my par, they have to birdie to beat me, which is the
harder thing to do. Yeah.
Which is more of a task if you're asking to do it.
Right.
Right.
and especially Carolina. You know, Hornets Nest is not a course that if you even try to play conservative, you can mess up and end up in bad shape. So
Yeah,
I just kind of played my game still, but then when it got to the upshots and putting, I just kind of played, you know, safe or smart, or if I was close enough, made the putt.
Yeah, there you go.
So I've recently played in the most recent KJ event, but what was the first event that you ever ran, Keith?
First event I ever ran was and this is Barry and all the local guys here in Georgia will like this, the first annual Indian Summer Open, which I ran at Kendall Indian Hammocks Park in Miami, Florida, which I designed that after working on Coconut Grove and making Coconut Grove 18 holes. And then as it started getting more crowded and stuff, Hurricane Andrew, which happened in 1992, kind of took out a lot of the stuff down south and where I lived, which was about 15 minutes from the Kendall Park. And it had big open fields and big open space and used to have buildings and things on it. And they just left it as open fields and let the grass start growing and stuff. And so I talked to the park manager about being able to put a disc golf course there. Of course, like most people back in the mid 90s had no idea what disc golf was. So I kind of showed them and went through different things and met with the park managers and was able to get the course installed. We won the matching baskets program, 9 holes. So they donated 9 holes and I bought the other 9 and started the course and ran my first tournament in 1996. I started touring in 96. I played all over the country. Kansas City Wide Open was my first tournament out of state, and 1996, and been running tournaments ever since.
Gee, so you've ran tournaments all over the country, or did you just run events in Miami and travel to other events?
Yeah, well, both. I ran events in Miami and traveled all over the country, pretty much almost every state, played tournaments. And then when I moved to Arizona, I ran tournaments there in Tucson, Arizona, including on the you guys saw the Disc Golf Pro Tour All-Star event. I ran the first A tier there on disc golf course before playing on disc golf courses was big. In 2001, I ran the tournament there, and or 2002. I'm sorry, I moved there in 2001. In 2002, I ran courses in a little executive course, Silver Bell, right off I-10, and then also the A tier at El Conquistador, and did that for a couple years before moving back out here to Atlanta in 2006. But yeah, so I've run tournaments here, there. I also helped Tim Selinsky with the Golden State Classic in La Mirada. Helped him with that, run that in 2006. So
as somebody who's like looking to get into running tournaments, I mean, we're talking about the highest paying B tier in Atlanta we've ever had. Georgia's history. I mean, like, how do you manage to go out and find these sponsors and like put forth the money that requires these big tournaments?
Well, a lot of it, like you said, is sponsorship. I'm constantly pumping up T-sign sponsorships, disc sales, things like that. Have people give me donations, or people give me things for CTPs, like yourself. Thank you for that again.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
And so those kind of things there, just basically go out and hustle. And worked with Throw Pink, which I want to give a shout out to my sponsor, Throw Pink, and Sarah Nicholson. And she's worked with me since she started Throw Pink with stuff for the tournaments. And I've also raised money at every tournament for Throw Pink that I've run in Georgia here since they started, and donate to them as well, and sell raffle tickets and 50/50s and things like that to help raise money for the tournaments.
So it's basically just a giant hustle game, and I respect it for sure.
Yeah, to a certain point, but it's for the players. I ran A tiers in Miami. I ran A tiers in Arizona. A tiers here. Ran the World Championships in Miami, which that's my proudest moment ever, was hosting the Worlds there. Even though it got pushed back a year because of PDGA combined Michigan Am and Pro in 2000, so they pushed Nashville back to 2001, and then me back to 2002. And of course, 9/11 happened in between, so it kind of put a damper on all that because things just went to hell. Everything with the city.
You've seen some stuff in the disc golf world, Keith.
Oh, yeah. Well, everything with the county was set for the year before, so they already had plans, and so I basically was recreating 3 courses in 2 different parks that were already done and built and everything else, and had to redo them all within 2 weeks of the world starting. So it was people will tell you I was in the parking garage cutting rubber mats for the tent pads at Amelia Earhart at 2 a.m, and then taking them out at 5 a.m. in a U-Haul truck and putting them out on the course with baskets and stuff. Yeah. So yeah, it was fun getting pushed back a year, but it still came off okay, and so I'm happy with it.
How many tournaments have you done?
I'm sorry?
Do you know how many tournaments you've had? Do you have a rough estimate? Do you know a number?
I've run?
Yeah.
So I've run over 300 tournaments.
Over 300.
Have you lost track?
Yeah, because I basically I used to track it, but I don't. I know I've run over 100 in Georgia, and ran.
We're going to get to that R word later, but we'll keep it going.
Okay.
Keith, you've always had like a unique philosophy in your payouts, and like I think it's a huge incentive to play your events. Like when it comes to payout, it's always 50%. You know.
Correct, and I was doing that back when the PDJ was paying 25 and 33%. Back in the beginning,
Correct.
I started with 50% in my very first tournament, and 100% of all ladies and juniors when I used to have juniors in the tournaments back in Florida.
Explain to people why you do it.
Well, the reasoning for me was in playing tournaments and seeing other people and stuff, you had the mentality back in the day when I started running tournaments, it was 4-round tournaments, 2 rounds on Saturday, 2 rounds on Sunday. And you'd have people that would, not come back Sunday because they had no chance, or they'd be after the 3rd round, they'd leave early because they had no chance, but they'd be 5 or 6 strokes out of the last cash at 30% or 40% or whatever, but they'd be only 1 stroke out or be tied for the top half. And I'm like, well, I can keep all these people alive and interested in wanting to come back and wanting to play if I paid half the field. So that's where I started raising more money and paying it. So because I would pay half the field without taking from the top, which a lot of tournaments will scarf from the top to pay down further in the field, or to pay all the ladies or to do whatever. And I never did that. I always would raise more money to cover that, or get sponsorship to cover it, or donate myself.
Right.
And it works. I mean, people stay at your tournaments now. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they've pretty much every tournament I've run, I mean, they've always sold out, whether it was a full field at the time the tournament went off or not, depended on weather, but blah, blah, blah. But yes, they always sold out in Florida and Arizona and here also.
Nice.
Absolutely. I've never played a Keith event that's not sold out.
It's true.
What's the wildest situation you've ever encountered as a tournament director?
Well, Scott kind of led into this last week, Scott Stokely, with his conversation. But the tournament I ran, the A tier I ran the year before in 2000, the year before I moved to Arizona, was at Amelia Earhart Park and Kendall Indian Hammocks Park. And the pros played Kendall on Saturday and Amelia on Sunday because I was having the award ceremony at Amelia, and the AMs were vice versa. The AMs played earlier in the day so they could come back up for the awards and stuff. But we had a massive storm move through after the first round, and we pushed lunch back about an hour because it looked like it was going to blow by or whatever, but it never really did. And the OB line that was 4 feet out of the lake, on dry land, when the first round ended, was about 25 feet in the water and about to my neck high. And I was standing on the OB line in the water, making calls for all these top pros that had come from all over the country that were playing: Cam Todd, Sean Sinclair, Scott Stokely, Climo, everybody was there from all over the country, playing this A tier with this huge payout. And I was standing there making the calls whether they were in or out. to
Submerged.
fair, well, yeah, to be fair for everybody, because the first cards that started, the OB line was dry, and by the time the other cards got around, the water just kept rising and rising, and you couldn't see the line anymore. T-pads.
And it's not fair to anybody.
Yeah, and so that was a way to keep it fair for the groups. So either that, I was going to have to cancel the whole round, and I didn't want to do that. So I stood in there and made the calls for everybody, and we kept going.
Nice.
Absolute legend in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. We got Chris Saxon saying legend. He's going to ask about your favorite condiment later for sure. You can always ask that question.
No problem.
I don't. How do you think you see? How do you think you're seen as a tournament director, Keith?
From what I hear, it's either a love-hate relationship. People don't like that I have players meetings before each of the rounds, or I don't put the board out ahead of time. And part of that is things I've seen as a player. When I was a player, like I said, touring in '96 before I started running the tournament, I kind of took all the best things that I saw in tournaments and incorporated them. I didn't invent them myself. I just incorporated things or tweaked them a little bit. And then the things that players hated, I never put into my tournaments. Things that have turned into things that people not necessarily hate, but dislike, were things that I saw that tournament directors did to make sure that you had the participation, because everybody wants to practice. Everybody wants to be hanging around or talking or whatever, but then they miss important stuff. And the ones that miss the stuff at the meetings are the ones that will complain about something that happened during the round, or that somebody did this and they didn't know that was a rule because they didn't listen, or they weren't at the players meeting, or they didn't take the sheet that has all the information, et cetera, et cetera. So that's kind of why I do what I do. So you have to at least fake participating, like you're at least there in person.
I respect it.
So that way, if you say something, hey, this is, and I'm like, I said it at the meeting, or it's on the sheet, and that's the way it is.
Craig Dickerson says
it's clean cut and to the point.
Yeah, that's it. That's a great way to put it there, Mr. Dickerson.
Thank you.
We do have a quick viewer question I want to hit. Sure. Daniel Clower says, thanks for all your hard work at Wills Park. Any plan to run more events there in the near future? I think there was an update about Wills that you got this week. Is that right?
Yes, I did get an update about Wills Park. Ryan Harris was kind enough to keep me in the loop about the RFPs, because I had told him to keep an eye on those things to see what's going on so I can stay in the loop that way. And he had mentioned that the people he was hooked up with, when they put the new RFP out, it did not have the disc golf course and stream restoration in it. So they were wondering what was going on. So I went and I talked to Morgan in person on Friday, because I'm off on Fridays. I went and talked to him, and I spent a good 15 minutes talking to him, and he explained what the situation was. He said that there was a lot of companies that didn't want to have anything to do with the stream restoration part of it, let alone the disc golf side of it, because they don't want to mess with that. So they would bid on the rest of the stuff that was in there. There was 7 things in the project. So they would do the others, but not that part. So they just cut that part out and reissued it without those parts in. And so now they're getting all their bids and moving forward with the other parts of the park that it will have nothing to do with the course itself. So he said that the earliest anything would happen possibly after they resubmitted all that is 2024. So we get at least one more season of Wills doubles and the course being the way it is as of this moment.
That course has changed. That course has changed so many times. If you were going to put a version on it, is this Wills Park 3.0, 3.5, 4.0? What
2.0, isn't it?
2.0?
Well, I can tell you all. I know beforehand, before I moved here in 2006, it had changed a few times because of buildings being there and tennis courts going in and things like that. But since 2006, it's only changed once, and that's when they did the redesign in 2010. And
we've also had to deal with some creek erosion on 12 and 13.
Well, 12
just 12.
Yeah, just 12. But all I did was remove the long pin.
Right.
From 12. So, I mean, really didn't it changed the course only in terms of not having a long pin position for that, because they used to have a long pin position up on the hillside
That long pen was my nemesis. I remember it.
Me too. I rolled into the creek many a time trying to make a putt.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, God. This is at least 6.0, says Courtney McCoy. She's following along. I
Yeah,
love that.
well, and she would know. She's old school. She's
been around too. Yeah.
She's an OG Will's dog, so she would know.
OG
She
Will's
is
dog.
Will's dog.
Billy Donovan wanted to know, would you ever implement a 2-meter rule at any of your tournaments in Georgia? Are there any special situations where this is a possibility of happening?
I used to run. That was another thing that was disliked.
Mhm.
I did it until 5 years ago, I think. I used to have 2 meters only at all my tournaments, and including from way back when in Florida, Arizona, and here. And I finally took it out about 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
I remember applauding when Keith would say, "No 2-meter rule. The 2-meter rule is not in effect."
Yeah. Yeah,
or he wouldn't mention it, and then you would ask it, and then he would say no, and then everybody would applaud.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was the PDGA changed it, I think 6, maybe 10 years ago, where if it was not put in, it was a default that it was not in effect.
Yeah.
So I would mention it, which made it in effect, the default of not being in effect, and then I'd wait for Austin to ask me the question.
Yeah, of course. I remember that. I was just getting into tournament play, and I remember there being a whole kerfuffle about this 2-meter rule thing. And I remember I was at 2 tournaments in a row where somebody asked and somebody said no, and everybody got excited. It's like, man, I'm missing out on an inside joke. This is still like three discs in a gas mask bag, Adam. You know, this is like Barney Adam for sure.
Well, it was basically 20 plus years of me running tournaments with it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
The world was ready for it.
So
okay,
kind of teaching you can't teach an old dog new tricks kind of thing, but we are.
California still uses it. They still use it extensively. I mean, I don't think they'll ever go away from it because that's where the sport started. So
I think
probably,
OTB Open this week is 2-meter rule.
It's not this week, next week. But yeah, that's California.
A lot of California tournaments, it's always there. It's always the default.
Yeah. That's why Murder Mike's got that show 2 meters high.
Right.
Okay, let's go ahead, Keith. Sorry.
I was going to say, speaking of California, if you'll indulge me for 30 seconds, I'd like to say that I'm very happy that my pals Johnny McRae and Jim Oates have both recovered from their open heart surgeries, and I'm glad to see them back on the course and back playing again. It's good. Johnny was from when I was in Florida. Played all my
Johnny's 50th.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I wanted to mention it's his 50th birthday. I'm glad he's still around to be with us and playing, and I look forward to playing U.S. Masters and Masters Worlds with him.
Yeah, I saw a video of Johnny throwing the other day. He finally is allowed to throw without the sling on because he had to make sure all the stuff stayed in the right spot. So he's looking pretty healthy and big on Jim Oates too as well. So I do want to talk to you, Keith. You've got the Throw Pink shirt on. You've got the Throw Pink shirt behind you. You are sponsored by Throw Pink. What does that mean for you as a player and a tournament director? What does Throw Pink do for you, and what do you do for them?
Well, I finally, after years of bugging Sarah, because I always donated money to her and raised money for Throw Pink and stuff, I'm like, what does it take to get on the team? And at the time when she first started, it was basically, like, you're not a lady, so you're not going to be on the team. But then Bill Newman, who also raises shit ton more money than I have for Throw Pink, him and a few other people got it. And I said, okay, you're letting guys in. I thought now. So she finally like, okay. So last fall, before U.S. Masters, I got to be on Team Throw Pink and represent it. And then this year, my first full year, I wear their shirts at every round I play of a sanctioned event, disc golf, and I get discounted stuff through them. I get whatever I like. Not whatever I like. I mean, I don't get free discs, free shirts, things like that. Yeah. But speaking of the shirts, because I got this stuff so early and I wanted to have it for using it for Vegas and the Memorial, Charity Goodwin actually took the logos because Sarah hadn't set up to do them with all the things. She was getting a new printer, a new whatever, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, screen printer. Yeah.
Screen printer or whatever, stamper.
Yeah. So Charity was kind enough to do these for me, and they came out awesome, and so I'm happy with them. And that's what I do. And I donated, to them personally as well as through tournaments, and that's what they do for me.
Nice. And you've always been an enormously dedicated supporter of women's disc golf.
Yes,
I want to know, now that the PDGA has a little less to work on with the DGP taking over some of the national tour, is there anything specific you think the PDGA can do now with a little more of their freed up resources to help grow the women's game that maybe they haven't been able to do before?
Well, I think they've done that is one of the things that they've gotten better at. They have women's committees, and they have now even Leah Sinagini, a local Georgia player.
Yeah,
he's also in the directors, and so the board is getting more inclusive. It has women in it. Lane King is part of it, and so they have the things that are they're getting the different viewpoints now than they used to have. It used to be the old guy network and whoever you knew type of a thing. And then the Women's Global every other year, which this year is again a year for the Women's Global. Yeah. So those things there's so many women's only tournaments. There's so many, there's a lot more than there was, even 10 years ago. There's so many more things now that are women's only events. Every week there's a women's only event somewhere.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think the entire month of May is Women's Global, aren't they?
Right. Correct. Yeah. But it's yeah.
Was it May or
it's August this year? I think
August this year,
August.
But it's shooting in May. They used to have around Mother's Day. Magnolia Open is coming up. That's also a women's only thing at VGC.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, and Sarah Nicholson actually started that when she was working there as the PDJ memberships manager.
Nice. Yeah.
The Magnolia Open.
Sarah's fantastic. Also, I don't know if you throw rocks, but Sarah's always sitting on a pile of like really tasty flat top rocks. And so I just want to put that out there in the ether again, so she remembers that I love flat top rocks.
I'll remind her.
She sent me a couple, and they are absolutely fantastic. So,
and it's funny, that's one of the things, even being in Florida and Climo's home state and everything, and that was the thing. I never, because everything I throw is flippy hyzer. If it goes left right out of my hand, I don't ever throw it. So there's like so many discs, including the rock was the main one, that I never threw because it was too stable. Even though it was straight, it was too stable for me at the time. So now I've gotten a lot better being able to throw different types of shots, but I've never had a rock except for, I keep one in my bag, but I never had them like, all different levels of rock from new to
yeah, you've never done the cycling thing.
Exactly. Correct.
Yeah, so, it's a bad habit to get in. I'll tell you what, it's a terrible habit to get in.
Yeah, I went through the CE phase, and that was an expensive CET birds and everything else, and they all cracked or chalked out or warped or whatever. Crayons.
Yeah,
and then you can't replace them, so it's tough.
Okay, I've got another question about the women's game too, because one thing we've seen in the last 2 years, and specifically when the DGPT has kind of come into prominence, is they really don't like it when folks from the women's field speak out on social media about issues with the tour. They've said time and time again, we would much rather you come to us privately. We'd much rather you go through the approved channels. Is that sending the right or the wrong message to young women getting into disc golf?
Yeah, this is my personal opinion, and
of course, personal opinion. Mine is my personal opinion is I'd rather they get as loud as they have to be, but
and that's kind of where I'm going with this too. Is that and being a supporter of women and at my events and all over since day one, is that sometimes you need to have people here, and I'm guilty of myself of doing this. It's like I'll say it even though nobody wants to hear it because it needs to be heard. Absolutely. And I think that it's helpful to the ladies' part. They got more of what they were hoping for, and not as much as they were hoping for, but more than what they were getting because they did speak out. Because then it kind of put shone a light on it, and so there are more spots available now, and they are adding more things, and the women are getting the same pay at the championships and stuff like that.
And the baskets are moved on time,
right? And you've got also women's pars now and stuff in the tour and things like that before, they were compared to the guys, and, it was hard to get ratings and hard to get, this, that, and the other. And they wanted to be compared to themselves and not compared to the guys. And
Right.
so all those things have come about because of them speaking out, and I'm very happy for it. And I'm happy that they've Disc Golf Pro Tours also seeing what's going on and made the changes for the better.
Yeah, they're
I
reacting.
feel like that's
maybe
the
a
only
little
way
slow
change can
at times, but
happen.
they're reacting.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't have the 2 meter rule anymore.
There you go.
You just got to ask about it.
Public pressure. I've got one more question on the women's thing, and it's something I want you to speak to as a tournament director.
Yes,
For these, local tournament directors, C tier, B tier guys, is there something they can do to accommodate the women that's very simple that they're just not thinking of? Is there, if you're trying to make your tournament female friendly, what's that simple thing you got to do that maybe a lot of folks are just forgetting about?
Okay, well, it's kind of two-pronged.
Sure.
What
Yeah.
I've done and what I've seen work, and not at Lula, because none of the ladies like the 2 rounds at Lula on the same day.
Yeah.
But at other tournaments, like at Wills and things like that, I had over half the field with ladies at Wills Park for the 2 tournaments I ran there. The thing is to have the exclusive windows for them to sign up to, because if it's just everybody signs up at the same time, if they're not on the computer right that second, they get shut out. So give them a chance to sign up. And it's not like you're taking spots from people. If they sign up, you give them a week, 3 days, 4 days, whatever the situation may be, 24 hours, 48 hours, anything to where, and you promote, hey, this is your exclusive window, then it's on them. If they don't sign up, it's not your fault.
Right.
And then secondly is to have the things for the ladies, like either playing, if you're using all the same tees, different pars for the ladies, or having like at Lula, the ladies played off the short tees, even the pros, because it is something that gives them their own ratings and their own thing. They're not playing, they're not playing a course that's going to kill them in 2 rounds.
Right. Okay,
So
cool.
Things, A and one A and one B, type of things. They're both things that will help out, I think. And also, again, a lot of tournament directors, Barry Arnson has done this, Jason Hartley and a few others. They'll pay all the ladies. I'll even donate sometimes. Like, they want to pay 2 of the 3. I'll donate money to the tournament that it pays all the ladies. I've done that when Gort Nazemi used to run the tournament at East Roswell. I did the same thing.
Mike Andazimi.
Yeah, Mike Andazimi, exactly. Mike Andazimi and Brian and Gort. But
Running Gort.
when they would run the stuff, I would give them money to
ensure that the women were
ensure
getting
that
paid.
all the ladies got paid, because I think that's important too, because that's the other thing that helps the ladies to sign up and play, is not seeing that a 940 rated player signs up and everybody else is like, okay, I have no chance to cash, or I have no chance to win, and so they don't sign up. If you pay everybody out, even if you give the last place, like I do, last place gets at least their entry fee back. If you do that, then you'll get more participation, because you'll have everybody knowing that before they even stepped onto the course or through one disc, they're basically playing for free. And I think that's helped participation.
Good to hear. I love this. I love these tidbits from tournament directors. I think
Dude,
we love having tournament directors on.
I want to just almost tag everybody that runs tournaments in Atlanta in this comments right now.
This is the workshop. Yeah.
It's so beneficial, but I mean, now we're gonna go into it a little bit more. Like, we're talking about the big R word we said earlier. You're now you announced retirement, Keith.
Retirement from work and retirement from running tournaments in Georgia, because as you all know, I put 100% of everything I do into the tournament, as you mentioned, with mowing the course the week before, or 2 weeks. Like, I've been at Lula for a month, every weekend for a month, and before prepping it.
And by no offense, I mean this in no way offense. Like, you were getting old, Keith.
Yes,
you need to slow down, bro.
I'm going to be 62 in August, and that's
no, you're not.
Yes, sir.
Jesus.
And so I'm taking early retirement so that I can enjoy my life with my family, my wife, and Lorelai, and
future world champion Lorelai.
Oh, by the way, since you said that, do you know her PDJ number?
I don't, but I know it's low.
You get a free beer if you do. We're gonna look it up. That's
13725.
I definitely have my computer open right now.
One.
I've seen it on a lot of T signs. I know
It's
that.
on hole one. It's on a hole one at Sequoia, and I look at it every time, and I'm like, that's it.
Yeah,
13725.
he has sponsored.
No, you're close. You're close. It is 13.
697.
697.
Her birthday.
I knew it had a 7 in there too.
Her birthday is March 697, so I got the PDJ number of 13697.
Oh my! I didn't realize that.
Yeah, that's
he asks it every tournament.
That's amazing.
And I've sponsored at Worlds, and I sponsor in Vegas every year with her all 3 courses.
Hole 6
every year.
7 6.
Hole 6 on every course. Tournaments I play. People that even if I don't play the tournaments, I'll sponsor for like Barry's tournament and Jason Hartley and those guys. I'll sponsor.
Oh yeah,
Hole 6.
he sponsored the par 2 back in the day too.
Yeah,
we ran a little par 2 for no reason.
That Dupree, I like that. That's a good little practice course.
I mean, we brought a lot of people to disc golf, and I think it was beneficial, and I think I enjoyed it. I know I'm working on another one. I'm just
awesome.
Dupree's a little far out of the way.
We got a scoop here.
All right.
So,
but Keith,
one of the other,
you've been in the game for a minute.
Yes,
did you ever think that you would get to this point when you first started throwing lids?
No, I've actually been throwing lids since 1971. So I've been throwing lids for quite a long time. Since I was 11 years old, I got one for my birthday and was throwing it. And to keep people playing, which is where my hyzer flip comes from, I used to put them with the wind and me against the wind. And to keep them playing longer, if I threw it to where they were standing and they only had to maybe take a step or two at most, and they would keep throwing longer, and I'd run all over and chase the Frisbee down when they threw it, but I would skip it off the ground or get it right back to them. And so that's where it came from, because I've been doing that motion for all these years, 50 plus years. And so that's where that came from. And it's something I've loved doing. I mean, I love throwing when I retired, air quotes, the first time from disc golf, I still played tournaments with lids, and I played tournaments with lids for 5 years. PDJ sanctioned tournaments, unsanctioned things, leagues, everything. I did not throw a disc golf disc for 5 years. And I actually, one of my proudest rounds was throwing a 91 at the Crucible in like a 30-mile-an-hour wind, because I just it stayed in the fairway. Because that's the thing with lids, you just throw them and they stay straight in the fairway. And so the worst part is putting, of course, because I didn't even putt with a disc golf disc after I threw the lid. I putted with a lid, and baskets are not very lid friendly in today's world. The old Mach 1s were, but
so you had to throw it to the lock, huh?
Yeah.
I basically played there, to try to. Or if I had 5-footers, I had to just kind of hyzer it in to catch all the chains as much as possible. Nice. But I'm proud of, like I said, a lot of the things I did in the past. One of the things going back to the AM Worlds in Miami was when I started the course at Kendall. The second course for the Worlds became where that park was the only park in Florida at the time to have multiple courses in the same park. There's several now, and it's still the only World Championships ever held in Florida, anywhere, not just in Miami, but anywhere in Florida. So I'm proud of those two things, that it's things that were there. Started the Fabulous Florida Tour with Sean Harrigan and Ron Aldridge. So I did that, and then started the Georgia Super 6 Series here. Wes is running that now.
Yeah, it's still going strong.
I'm playing it this weekend. Yeah.
So, and that's the thing, is that it's still going strong. I ran it for 5 years, turned it over to him, and he did the smart thing. I used to run the tournaments myself every 6 weeks apart, 6 different cities. And he's like, nah, I'm going to just go and vend and set up the stuff behind the scenes, and I'm going to let the local TDs run the stuff. And
young kids like Leon Mullenix out there weed whacking and getting ready. Yeah.
And that's the thing, is and again,
Wes can't do it now.
Yeah. He got a broken arm there. But that's like what Austin says. My thing is, like, everybody else runs tournaments, I run events, because a course will look good and be tournament ready for somebody else. But I want the edges of the fairways mode. I want the edges of the creeks mode. I want the course to look good, so that if you're having a bad round, it's because you played bad, not because your disc was, 3 feet off the fairway and it took you 10 minutes to find it because the grass was 3 feet tall or whatever. So that's why I feel, I did the same thing in Miami. I did the same thing in Arizona. It's one of those things where that's why I ran the series on my own, is because I would go to the park and I would get the park ready the way I wanted it to be as a player as well as a TD, because I was also playing in the tournaments. So if I'm happy with it as a player, I'm going to be happy with it as a tournament director. And so that's how I always look at it.
And I respect you a lot for that, Keith.
Yeah.
Do you think disc golf has lost anything along the way? Like since you started to where we're at now, have we lost anything?
No, it's actually exploded as in people in terms of everything else. I mean,
are we growing too fast though? I mean,
well,
let's the reverse side of it as well.
Yeah, the reverse side of it is you're running out of land, especially in metropolitan areas. I mean, you can only put so many disc golf courses into so many parks. You have a lot more private courses going in, people building courses on their own land and stuff. Shout out to John Bisco in Hawk Hollow with one of the best private courses in the country. And he's done other courses too, Raptors Roost. He's designed some other stuff also. But yeah, private courses, a lot of people, Hayden's doing it here in Georgia. There's a lot of that happening, which is, and pay to play. Of course, Louisville is a private course, pay to play. So those kind of things are helping because you have the land and you have the people. And it's just the problem with those courses, a lot of them, Hawk Hollow, Lula, or whatever. And as Adam says, it's like 9.5 hours from downtown Atlanta.
Exactly. Yeah. By helicopter.
It's an hour and a half, but that's the thing, is like they're not where a lot of people are. So they become a destination thing. So you don't maybe play them as much as you would if they were Wills Park or East Roswell or city parks. But the city parks then get the overplay and trampled and the erosion issues and the disc golfers changing the design of the designer because this branch is in their way and this tree's in their way. And so they break it off or they stomp it down or they bend it over. And that stuff you can't replace. You can't put a 10-foot wide tree in a spot when it's gone. You can't replace it in an instant.
Douglasville's having that
without thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. And I a lot of the stuff, including all the trees at Lula, except for 3 of them, that's all out of my pocket. And all the stuff I've done at Lula, that's
now look how big those damn trees are.
Yeah.
Can I just give a giant F you to Keith right quick? You didn't have to do that.
Yeah, you guys used to throw over them to be in 5's fairway for 6 and 6's fairway for 5. And
now you're
in trouble. Yeah.
All your hard work's finally paid off, and now you're retiring. See you, Keith.
Yeah,
it's been great.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and that's why I said I'm retiring from running tournaments in Georgia, because when I do settle back in St. Augustine later on in my life, hopefully, knock on wood, I'm still around to retire at the property we have there. Then I'm looking to run stuff locally there in that area.
Nice.
So I will.
I've heard St. Augustine's got a cool little course down there.
Yeah, they have
with the
nice
Spanish moss and everything hanging from the trees. It's cool.
They got one right next to the highway where like there's a county fair or city fair or whatever that goes on there, and there's a course around that area, and they have even a basket. It's on a lighthouse. So it's
oh snap!
Sure, mini golf course. Yeah.
No, that's the only.
We'll see you again in 6 years.
before then, but yeah, I'm still playing as I played last weekend, dollars tournaments, both flexes I played, and
I think it'd be good for you to just play. Don't worry about anything else, Keith. Just play. Just throw frisbees, dude. That's what the fun is all about, man.
Exactly, and that's what those 5 years when I played with the Lids, it was getting back into playing for the reason I played, because again, as I said earlier, I suck as a player, but I still think that I can do these things, and I'll pull them off 1 out of every 50 shots and be like, oh, that's why you keep playing. But
you say you suck as a player, but you spent 5 years throwing Liz and you're still rated like 909 or something. So
my rating went from like 925 to I think 772 or something with the 5 years of playing Liz.
Oh my god!
And then I came back up actually. When I started throwing discs again, it took me, now it's taken me almost 2 years to get my rating back over 900 again.
That's a grind. That's why you're the hardest working man in disc golf. You're like, I'm going to tank my
yeah, but I still kept playing pro. It wasn't like I tanked my rating in this. Oh,
no, that's true.
I could play advanced grandmasters or what. I've always played pro. So unless it was a thing where it was ratings based or like charity events and things like that, where I'm still playing pro, but we're playing in a colored rated division.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like, in the experience you've had in disc golf, and I think I know where this answer is going to be, but Keith, do you think disc golf needs to get harder? Like, do the length of the courses need to be harder?
Baskets get smaller. What do we need?
Well,
maybe for like the professional level, I'm asking.
Well, again, for the professional level, there's the baskets getting smaller thing has been talked about for.
Yeah, 15. I don't think the baskets ever need to get.
I don't
smaller.
think that's going to happen. Because I think there would be more of a revolt if that happened. But courses getting longer again. Now you run into the same problems that we were talking about earlier.
Running out of land.
You're running out of land, and then you're going to shrink down to having where most of the tour now is on ball golf courses, and then so that takes away from what disc golf started as, which was throwing lids through trees, and but for the money that's in the sport, I'll tell you the same thing I told the guy in after Macbeth signed his $1 million contract or $10 million contract, for $1 million a year, was he asked me what I thought about the contract, and I said I was born 20 years too early. Basically, it's like now all the guys like Climo and all the other guys that had that one tournament, they took a year to earn what guys are earning in one tournament now, and so that's the one thing that I think gets missed a lot by some of the newer players and some of the young guns now and the tour and stuff, is that there's not. I mean, Macbeth did it in a few years ago. He went and played with the disc that Climo used on the Climo's courses and had that challenge and stuff and videotaped it.
Right, with the starter pack.
Right, and to show it's the archer, not the arrow type thing. But it's one of those things where I don't think it's not that there's not respect, but there's not the stuff given for the guys that started and put in all the work, that were these guys are the ones taking advantage of all the people that put in all the work before them to make this what it is now. And I don't think they're like, me, more. And some of them are obviously that's not the majority, but there's a percentage that are like that. And that's the thing that makes me sad about disc golf, is that it exploded so much and the people came in and there was no, payback or whatever for the guys that made it to be what it is now for these guys now.
Yeah, it feels like a lot of the outside influence in disc golf right now who are glomming on because the money is there now. It's kind of like somebody who opens a casino in Atlantic City and then shuts it down 5 years later. It is what it feels like to me. It feels like you're going to jump in, you're going to get the pump, and then you're going to have to get out when you get out. I want to know, as somebody, we're just talking about some of the greats in the game, as someone who's been playing since 95, who is the greatest of all time, male and female?
Well, to me,
honest opinion.
Yeah, my honest opinion, to me, it goes back to Climo, I would say, because I've played rounds with him. I've seen him at lots of tournaments, my own and others. As I said, I traveled the country, so I was at the same tournaments he was at and followed his cards and so forth and so on. Because he could do things with a disc back when you had to do things with a disc. You couldn't just say, okay, I'm going to pick this 15-speed driver and I'm going to turn it on a 90-degree Anheuser angle and I'm going to throw it 750 feet.
Right.
Which now these guys can do that. You had to take a gazelle or a leopard or a KCT bird or whatever, and he had to make those discs go through the trees, which most of the courses back then were
through the trees.
In parks. They weren't on the ball golf. I think the only ball golf course that there was one on was Charlotte Worlds, when they used the ball golf course there for one of the courses in Worlds, and they did different things there, but there was very few. So that now again, Macbeth, he gets 1B from me for the fact that he's the same thing. He's done it on repeatedly against a much more talented stacked fields than Climo had to play against. So he's done it, and in this day and age, he would be the guy. And for the ladies' side, I'd say three-way tie with Juliana Korver, Elaine King, and I want to say
Valerie
Doss.
Jenkins.
Jenkins.
That's what,
Yeah.
what is his name now? Yeah, Valerie Jenkins Doss. But they all did it in different eras. Like Elaine was first, and then Juliana. I was there in Kansas City when Juliana said she was coming after Elaine the next year, and she won the Worlds the next year. And then Val, when she had her run, they've all got 5 titles in disc golf, and it's
Val even did it during the Paige Pierce era.
Right, yes. Exactly. Val had that time frame. Juliana had it during with Des was her biggest competitor all the time.
And Des is back. Des just got to deal with Mint. She's on tour again. She's going to go play.
Yep, she's actually back playing again after having some hip issues and stuff. So it's good to see her back out again.
She's always been a competitor too.
Oh yeah, exactly. And her and Jay with Starting Edge, which I supported them, and a lot of before Throw Pink came out, all my fundraisers here in Georgia and stuff went to Edge. I ran several tournaments for Edge and stuff like that also.
Absolutely. I'm a huge supporter of Edge too.
Yeah. So
every time I start framing the casual round, we talk about them. You know,
you're not going to ask me who my favorite Masters player is.
I figured you were going to say Barry Schultz since I think he's watching. But
yeah, Barry is one definitely. Barry also is battling with Ken lots of times. Everybody knows the famous USDGC the round back and forth with those guys.
Oh yeah,
and Barry, and as well as again Jim Oates, Greg Hosfeld. Steve Slazer in Florida, you know, all the old school guys, Giles Watson, they're all those guys that were, you know, Hosfeld has just done amazing things. He started, didn't start, but he ran all the courses. He was the first one to take courses around the state and, you know, help promote getting disc golf into parks by bringing 9-hole courses or 18-hole courses out to different parks and showing it could be done. And he'd run tournaments there, and it was half course, well travel. Was what he started back then, and he did that, and that helped get a lot of courses in places that wouldn't have had a course. So shout out to him for all the things he's done too for disc golf.
I think everyone at home's literally just Googling. There's PDGA, Googling all these names. Like, who are these legends that we don't even know yet? This is
Rick Rothstein also, not as much for a player as a Masters age guy, but disc golf. He was a TD of the Kansas City Wide Open, which was again my first out of state tournament. But he also did the PDJ magazine for all the years. Disc Golf World News. He started with his wife Lynn back in the day. The Ice Bowl, which still runs to this day, which I run those, and those are charity fundraisers for food banks, and now they've expanded to being for any kind of fundraiser, but it used to be for food banks and things like that. And so all those things got disc golf out into the public awareness back when disc golf was, oh, you throw frisbees in the woods, or disc golf, what's that? Just disco, you know, you had all these different things. Now, because of Sports Center and because of the Disc Golf Pro Tour and how many things have exploded, you mentioned disc golf pretty much to anybody now, and people know what
they know what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. They'll see the thing on the shirt. Oh, Throw Pink. I've heard of them. And, you know, people, my bankers, different people like that, they'll be like, oh yeah, I played this course. I play that course. And when I come in, they see the thing that says disc golf tournament account. They're like, oh, disc golf, you do those things. I go, yeah. So it's all, now it's mainstream. And the thing is, disc golfers from way back when to now, all different walks of life. Yeah. In Miami, I had guys were lawyers, they were landscapers, they were psychiatrists, they were running their own businesses. You had all different walks of life playing disc golf.
You just described the entire foursome that I normally play with.
Yeah, that sounds like Sunday morning for me. Yeah.
So, you know, and that's the thing is like you can, anybody on the street you meet, you know, no matter what they do, it plays disc golf or knows about disc golf nowadays. So it's great to see it come around to that.
Keith, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Can you stick around for maybe like 10 more minutes and answer some of the fun questions before we let you go?
Of course. I can stay as long as you want. I don't have to be to work till 5 o'clock in the morning.
I think only 5 o'clock.
God. Okay,
10
we'll go
minutes
quick.
is good because I gotta eat dinner.
I understand. Yeah, whatever you'd like to ask, I'm here. Ask me any question.
Let's go.
Who would
then.
play K. John James, Jingleheimer, Keith Johnson in a movie?
Well, I've been told when my hair is long, I look like what's his name? The guy that oh crap, Nick Nolte.
Nick
When my
Nolte. I
hair-
can see Nick.
Nolte. Okay, I see it.
When my hair is like a little longer than this, but not long because of my bald spots, I get the Ted Danson. People say sometimes I look like Ted.
You never want to go for the comb over or no?
I can see the Ted Danson for
No.
sure.
And my hair is every 6 months since I was 16 years old. I'm a creature of habit, as you well know, and it gets cut every
you are.
You get the birthday cut, you get the Christmas cut, and then that's
every April, every October. It started because when it used to get in my eyes, I cut it the first time it was October, and then it would grow back and get in my eyes again in April, and so that became when they gets cut, April and October.
That's
yeah.
ever since COVID, I've been on the every 3 month strain. It's like nobody cares. I work from home. So who would, if you had to play a round with any celebrity alive or dead as your doubles partner, who would it be?
Any celebrity?
Yeah.
You got to spend at least 2.5 hours with them.
Yeah.
No, I'm trying to think. There's so many that I'd love to play with. I'd have to say Chris Pratt. He seems like a cool guy, and I'd like, I mean, from what I see in the movies and what I see in interviews and stuff like that, he seems like he'd be a fun guy to hang out with.
Yeah, he'll roast you pretty good for sure. Like that would be.
Everybody does. I'm used to it, so just the same as always.
Chris Pratt would be a good one.
I'm sorry.
As a creature of habit, give me one superstition you have on the course.
If I win a course, if I win a tournament, I will wear whatever I was wearing on that. When I won the tournament, I'll wear that for the next tournament I play, and then if I play well, I wear it to the next tournament, and so forth and so on. If I don't, then I never wear it again on the course.
That's why you needed us to re-sign the Prodigy shirt.
That's why this throw pink shirt is hanging here behind me, because that was a shirt I was wearing when I shot the 86. So it's not playing any more tournaments.
No, it's hanging out to dry.
I'll wear my other. I've got 3 other ones, but that one's not getting worn for play anymore in PDJ tournaments.
Just watch it and wash the bad juju off.
Yeah.
Oh, it's washed.
Okay.
That's my super.
In your tournament bag, what would be the hardest disc to replace if you lost it?
What's in my bag right now, or
I was going to ask in your bag right now, but then also in your collection. But in your bag right now, what would be the hardest one to replace?
In the bag right now, my Pro D Stratus, because they don't make it. It's hard to find. And what was in my bag until it ended up in the fountain at Fountain Hills was my Coyote, Star Coyote. I love that thing, and it's just like I'm not going to keep paying out of production prices for Star Coyote. So I have the Wombat, and that's Star Wombat now. So I just have 3 different versions of the Wombat: a newer one that risers, one that stays straight, and one that turns over.
What's the craziest thing in your collection at home?
Actually, I don't have a real big collection any longer. I sold my collection of almost 3,000 discs to Joshua Childs back when I retired in 2015. He got a lot of quality, priceless stuff. And so in my collection right now, actually, I just gave it away in the mystery box that Joshua Henley won at the silent auction at the tournament. Was a 1 of 3 disc that was from Las Vegas. There was only 3 of them made. I had number 1 of it, and but that I still have currently in my collection as of we speak right now. Probably my Pinball Hall of Fame disc, because there's only a few of those that were made for the players for the Vegas tournament. I don't in my own discs, my own tournament discs. I have a few. I actually don't have that many anymore. I probably have less than 100 discs now in my house.
Oh wow!
And
I bet your wife and daughter are real happy.
There's more space. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's most of the stuff I get now. I've gotten a lot of discs, and I get them as sponsorship and stuff. But then I turn around and I'll give them away as CTPs or sponsorship to other tournaments, like for the gals. Which, speaking of women all the time, shout out to Amanda Gardner and Sierra Buford and Peggy Attaway for getting that, keeping that going. Peggy and Amanda cranked it up, and Sierra's in there now, and several other ladies helping out. And so a lot of the stuff I give to them: bags, baskets, discs, stools, all sorts of stuff. So I've got a bunch of stuff for them now for the Women's Global to give away to them. But
yeah, I saw you first in line at the Las Vegas for the Firebirds.
Yep, I was first in line for that, and that was last year. I did that for Robert Harrison, not knowing anything about it. It was just one of those things, and I came out the door, and people were offering me obscene amounts of money for the disc, and it's like, no, this was already promised to somebody else, and I sold the other one, which basically paid for my trip. And then this year it's like, okay, I'm going to be, I'm going to be as close to the front of the line as possible. I played, that's the one thing about being old, where the first guy is teeing off in the morning. So before the line started, I was already done with my round. I'd already played my 18 holes, and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to camp out here. And that's what I did. And PDJ interviewed me about it, but I had told Robert this year, I said, if somebody offers me that kind of money again, I said, I'm sorry, you'll get the other disc, which I did, the other disc, the Joker's disc. But and I sold that one for $750, and basically again paid for my trip and without having to worry about it.
That's insane.
So we're sitting in line for 6 hours.
So the infamous Frolfcenter question.
Yes.
What's your Waffle House order?
Oh, Waffle House order. Waffle House order is bacon and cheese omelet with 2 sides of bacon, hold the weight, and Texas toast, no jelly.
Nice. No
jelly.
Craig Dickerson wants to know, what's your favorite course that you've designed?
Lula, my baby.
Lula,
the
baby. That makes sense.
I think that's a no-brainer.
Yeah. Well, my favorite until it got changed, back then was Kendall, because it was the first one I did. I designed the back 9 of Indian Hammocks. David T. Kennedy Park. I designed that, but that was just basically all 200-foot holes. It was a beautiful lid course. Yeah. I think the longest hole was like 260 or whatever when I stretched it out on the back 9, playing right to the Biscayne Bay. So, and there was Miami Aquarium and Dome in the background where Clipper back in the day used to do his shows.
Really?
So that was my coolest hole I designed until 15 at Lula, which if you were there when it first went in, I designed that as I drove in the road. I said, no matter how I get there, I'm going to have T-pad on this side of the creek and a basket on the hillside, and that's where it is. Of course, it had 2 monster trees back then, which made the hole a lot tougher.
Yeah.
There was no thumbers or no, overhand shots to get you to the basket. If you were anywhere on the fairway, you had to throw under the branches and around the tree.
There was one tree right before the creek, and there was a massive tree right in the middle of the fairway.
There was 2 massive trees.
Lost. 2 massive trees in the fairway we lost.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, that hole was there, and of course, hole 6. Ricker also helped with the design on the original course. And that was one of the battles I won with him. He wanted to put it on the flat. And I said, no, we got this other level here. Let's go up here, make it a true par 5, get it up to the top. So you have, and that face of that hillside there where the basket sits on the green, that sent myself and many, many other discs rolling back down the fairway or down the hill into 5's
Even
fairway.
After a putt.
Yeah, exactly. Even into 5's fairway, I had one roll into. So it's as a designer, I love it. Same with 15 when it bounces off a basket and rolls down the hill, or hits a tree and rolls down the hill. As a designer, I love it. As a player, I've been burned by it so many times and it drives me nuts. But I know in the back of my mind, I'm like, that's why it's there.
It's like 15
exactly.
Yeah,
it's true risk reward, because if you go at it and miss, you may get penalized.
Yeah,
exactly. Throw in the perk reference. I love it, Adam.
Yeah, I always got to throw in the perk. I always got to rep perk somehow. I hear tell that you're quite good in Las Vegas. I want to know what's the game. What are you playing in Vegas?
Roulette.
Roulette. Okay.
Yeah, roulette's my game. I've been playing that since '92,
Mm-hmm.
And the way I play it, I basically scatter shot the board. The only 12 numbers I don't play are the middle 12.
Mhm.
I put more money on the bottom 12 because that's when I started playing. I started playing. I played the bottom 12 and the top 12 because of my birthdays in 8/6 is in there. Lorelai's birthday, everybody's birthdays in the top. So I basically started playing, and so I cover that to break even. The bottom 12 is where I make money, and the middle 12 is the only place and I walk away if it hits in the middle twice in a row. I'll walk away because then I can't win the money back in the next spin. And that's the thing. You have to be. Vegas is built by people not walking away. And that's the one thing that I've done, which has helped me is I'll get up and walk away. I don't have any qualms about it. And I've been to Vegas over 50 times, and I've had 3 times I've come out on the negative side. Wow. And I'll sometimes come out 100 ahead. Sometimes I'll come out 2,500 ahead. Sometimes I'll come out, 50 ahead.
Yeah. Sure.
Between the most money I ever won was in 40 minutes. I won $2,200. They hit 13 of 14 spins in the bottom 12, including a couple of doubles and triples. If it hits that number in the bottom 12, I'll circle it and also put an extra chip on top of it or double up whatever I have bet. So when that guy did that, and then Pit Boss came over, is like, change the dealer. And I said, okay, I'm cashing in. He's like, oh, you can't do that. You're playing with house money. I said, dude, when you put it on this side of the table, it's my money. I'm leaving. And
I'm out of here. Yeah. They're trying to get you for a room. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's the thing is I get comp there. So I save for free, and, I just pay for the airfare. Sometimes I get cars for free. Sometimes we Uber, whatever the case may be. But yeah, anytime they offered me free rooms, I was going out there. So we were going out there 3 to 4 times a year, and I still go out 2 or 3 times a year. Every year I live out there, and I take 10% of the winnings and put it towards the gals tournaments. I call it the roulette fund, and so that's what I've used to help pay all the ladies in tournaments and things like that too. Is that?
That's awesome. And so let's say you have a big day on the roulette table, you're going to put some away from the ladies. What's your celebratory meal? Like if you're just like, I had a great day, I want to eat what I want to eat. What's your meal?
Steak.
Yeah. Medium rare? What do you do?
No, medium. Medium ribeye, broccoli, steamed broccoli, salad. So I
right on.
Relative. Yeah. I mean, that's my go-to for anything. I had that
typical caveman.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
I need meat.
Creature habit. That's the thing. Yeah, that was the one thing when I went on the South Beach diet and I lost the 35 pounds back in 2016. That's it.
Yeah, when you quit carrying around a 2-liter of Pepsi.
Hey, as an homage to you.
It's only 16 ounces.
It's a 20 ouncer, but I wasn't going to buy a 2-liter. I don't drink it that much anymore. But
takes up too much camera space when you're trying to be on camera.
Yeah, I used to carry around a 2-liter bottle at every round I played until 2016. I had at least a 2-liter each round. So
2-liter of Pepsi and some jorts, bro. That was Keith Johnson.
That was me. Yeah, jorts and
well, jorts is still Keith Johnson, but no more Pepsi.
No jorts. I haven't worn jorts since 15, maybe earlier than that. I
saw you in jeans, and you looked like you were ready to cut the legs off.
When I wear, the only times I'm wearing jeans is if the temperature's below 40 degrees. Other than that, I'm wearing shorts and the dry fit shirts, polos in tournaments, and regular dry fits like these.
I'm glad Lorelai finally talked you out of the jorts.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, they're Costco shorts. So
I was gonna say her generation is probably really into jorts right now too. That's gonna be the funny thing. Like it's gonna
that's
be really
that's why she talked him out of them.
Yeah, Dad, you can't wear these. These are for me now. These are mine.
They'll be making a comeback. Most things do in her generation. No,
I hope you've got them stored in the closet.
Yeah.
No, got rid of all of them.
Maybe I'll make some jorts for this weekend. Maybe I'll show up to Georgia State Championship.
You won't show up with some jorts and a 2-liter of Pepsi?
If you sign up for it, I will show up in jorts.
Me?
No. Austin.
I'll be at Huck Central in South Carolina.
All right, never mind then.
But yeah, finishing up the story from before. That's basically why with the South Beach thing, it was great because I could still eat meat. I could still eat meat and vegetables and bacon and cheese and all the stuff I like. So it that's what kills most people's dieting, is because they have to stop eating things they like eating, and I didn't. I just had to, the only thing I had to cut out, which I went cold turkey on, was no Gatorades and no Pepsis. But the best part of the South Beach diet allows you to have those things. I can have sugar and have those, and if I start, I just go back. I can go in and out whenever I want. So I'll have sodas here. I'll have sodas in the movie theater. I'll have sodas at dinner every now and then. Yeah, and that's the thing.
Right on, you old Jenny Craig.
No Jenny Craig. They make you eat those.
I'm just giving you shit, Craig. Keith, any questions or advice for us before we let you go?
No, I don't. You guys are doing a great job again. I appreciate you having me on. I know it's I've been passively aggressively bugging you for months. I was,
dude. I think we've avoided this for the best, almost the best interview we've had lately. This is a good one.
See, that was the thing with if you had me on the week before the tournament, you would have gotten the scoop about that was going to be my last tournament in Georgia. But so you get it after the fact.
I think it makes it a little bit better now.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you having me on. It was great hearing Scott last week also, and just you didn't ask, but you have mentioned it, and you said Chris was going to ask. My favorite condiment is ketchup.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, there you go, Chris Saxon. Right. There you go, Chris Saxon.
I think I would have almost guessed that your favorite condiment was ketchup, Keith.
Yeah,
I would have
guessed ketchup, Keith.
Yeah, I would not have guessed ketchup until the jorts came up, and after the jorts came up, I was like, yeah, definitely ketchup.
Yeah, I don't like relish or mustard or any of those kind of things. Basically, salt and ketchup is what I put on food or fries and stuff. I don't put it on eggs, or I'm not that kind of guy. I don't
put the ketchup in the macaroni and cheese.
Stuff that it doesn't go on. I put it on things it's supposed to go on, like hamburgers and fries.
You don't do it on steak, right? You don't do ketchup on steak.
I don't use anything on steak. I used to use A1 back in the day, and then I just went to not having it to enjoy the flavor of the steak itself. You get ribeyes, you get a lot more flavor with it anyways without stuff. So
it's not a Waffle House steak. Waffle House steak, you need the 57 or whatever.
Well, that's why I get the bacon and cheese omelet at Waffle House. I don't get meat at Waffle House except for bacon. The bacon I only meat at Waffle House.
Keith, thank you so much for coming on. Good luck in retirement.
Thank you for having me.
We'd love to have you back and talk some more. We'll get more nitty gritty about tournament stuff someday in the future.
I would love that.
Okay. I got a whole list of stuff, so we can talk whenever you want to have me back on again. I'll be very happy to be part of your show.
Absolutely, Keith. Thank you so much, buddy. We'll talk to you soon.
Take care. Thanks.
Thanks, Keith.
Woo, that was good.
God, that's so much information for my brain right now.
Dude, I was trying to I was looking at the script and I was about to drill down into 19 different subjects. I'm like, we've been at this an hour and a half. We need to get out of here.
And I feel like I could have kept the conversation going.
Dude, I could have talked about Will's Park for an hour and a half, honestly.
Or I could have talked about just tournament directing for an hour and a half.
We'll have Keith back for sure. That was fantastic. We got to do that again. So,
yeah, awesome. My room's getting very dark and it's going to be awkward if I stand up and say goodbye. All right. Well, should I just take you out of here then? Yeah. Okay. So Austin's gone. I'm Adam. Hey, thanks for watching, guys. I will be at the Georgia State Championships this weekend. If you want to buy anything on the website and not have to pay for shipping and you're going to be there, just choose the little $0 shipping thing and I'll bring it to you. Just let me know you're doing that. Other than that, this was Frolfcenter. Next week, we have Fit Inspired Living from Cary, North Carolina. They were on an episode of ours maybe about 6 months ago. They've got some big news they're going to announce. Cody's going to be back for that one. So make sure you tune in next week.
Shoppers, can I get a fucking oh yeah? Thank you.